How Evan Mobley will take the Cleveland Cavaliers to the next level. After the Cavs had a pretty successful season last year by overachieving by quite a margin, the Cavs and Evan Mobley specifically are setting themselves up to build off their great season last year and be even better this next season. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports, I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Evan Mobley was drafted with the number 3 overall selection in the 2021 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And originally when he was drafted, Mobley was seen as one of those players that had a very high ceiling due to his great versatility at that center position. And although in his rookie year, Mobley didn't necessarily dominate, that's not really what people expected from him early on in his rookie year. People expected Mobley to show certain flashes in certain games and overall have a pretty good season, but they didn't necessarily expect him to dominate, and that's exactly what he did, averaging 15 points per game on 50% shooting from the field, 8.3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, which are definitely very good numbers in general, but especially for a rookie. But probably the most encouraging thing about Mobley was how he played, not necessarily his stats. Of course, there were certain times where Mobley did struggle against certain teams and against certain players specifically, but that's something that you would expect from a rookie. But overall, I would say Mobley did show some flashes of greatness, and the biggest takeaway from his rookie season to me was how versatile he was and how perfect that would be for the new age NBA. So let's break down his game to really show that versatility that he has. So starting with his 3-point jump shot, Mobley definitely had a pretty good stroke from that range, as he had a really nice ability to run the pick and pop and hit a catch and shoot 3-point jump shot that way, or just spotting up from the top of the key or from the corner especially. Now, although Mobley only shot 25% from deep in his rookie year, which obviously is not good whatsoever, it was pretty clear by watching him that he does have a pretty nice stroke from out there. And of course, as the years do progress, I would expect him to make improvements upon that 3-point game. But moving on to his mid-range jump shot shooting, this is definitely one of the better aspects of his game, as of course he has a really nice catch and shoot mid-range shot, but one thing that makes him so unique and so versatile is he does have the ability to cross over, sidestep, and even step back from that mid-range area due to the great lateral quickness that he does have. But another thing that he has within his mid-range game is that post turnaround fadeaway, which is basically perfect for a guy like Evan Mobley, who's obviously very tall, has pretty good footwork, and also has an amazing wingspan on him. So it's basically a shot that's impossible to block or really even get a good contest on by most defenders. But now talking about his driving and finishing ability, this is also a very good aspect of his game as well, as he definitely has the mobility to take the ball from the top of the key and blow by his initial defender, drive all the way to the basket, and finish around the basket with crafty layups, either his left or right hand. But he also of course has an ability to posterize players at times as well. He definitely has a pretty nice post game as well, able to finish a nice little baby hook with either his left or right hand, just adding to his versatility. He even has a pretty nice ability to put up a baby floater in the post, and overall I would just say Mobley is a very versatile player from top to bottom offensively at this point. And the great thing about Evan is also defensively he's fantastic. He does a really nice job at coming from the weak side and getting those weak side blocks. He also does a pretty good job at playing on-ball defense on a bunch of different positions. The only thing that I would say that he really does struggle with, at least somewhat, is guarding stronger players in the post, which obviously makes sense due to his frame, but this is something that I would expect him to improve upon as the years do progress. But overall, on the defensive side of the court, he definitely is a very good defender. And as I said before, the total package of Evan Mobley is absolutely perfect for the new age NBA. And going forward long term, I do see Mobley as one of those young guys that will just continue to improve their game season after season. I just feel like he has that type of work ethic. And obviously we don't have enough sample size to know this for sure, as obviously he only played one season so far, but in my opinion, based upon how he played towards the tail end of the season compared to the beginning of the season and the improvements that he did make, I do see Mobley as one of those players. So there definitely is a ton to be excited about for the Cavs about Evan Mobley. But now let's get into the question of the video, which is how Mobley will take take the Cavs to the next level next year, and really in the future as a whole. Now, the reason why the Cavs were a really good team last year, or at least a much better team than most people expected, especially at the beginning of the season, was due to the fact that they just had a bunch of different players on their roster play very well, and they just had a great chemistry overall. But in my opinion, some of the improvements that I expect from Evan Mobley going forward could really take this team to the next level. Because if Mobley could turn himself into a player that puts up 18 plus points per game on efficient shooting, that would really help the Cavaliers significantly. But even besides the numbers, if Mobley could just score for himself a little bit more and really create his own shot in the clutch, I really think that would be such a differentiating factor for the Cavs going forward. And having another guy that could really score for himself in the clutch is obviously going to help the Cavs significantly. Because of course, just like any other team, there are certain stretches where the Cavs just aren't playing well as a unit. So having that extra guy that could just put his head down and score for himself would really help the Cavs significantly. Now, obviously, Mobley did show the ability to do this in his rookie season in certain stretches, but he didn't necessarily show this consistently throughout his rookie season, I would say. So of course, making certain improvements to certain aspects of his offensive game would definitely help in this aspect. Now, another thing that I would like to see him improve is that three-point jump shot. Now, even though he definitely could hit that three-point jump shot at this point, he did only shoot 25% from deep, and although I did mention before, I think he's a much better shooter than that percentage would suggest, I still at the same time would like to see him improve upon that. And that would really open up a bunch of different things for him specifically, just getting more open shots, but it would also open up the paint for other guys like Darius Garland to do his thing. And also improving that three-point jump shot would really just make the pick and pop or pick and roll between him and Darius that much more deadly for other teams going forward. So overall, I am pretty confident that as time progresses, Mobley is slowly going to make those improvements to his game season after season. And I think the overall improvements that he does end up making, assuming that he of course does end up doing that, is going to have huge effects on the Cavs in terms of their wins and losses. But even besides Evan Mobley, there's still a ton to be excited about for the Cavs going forward. I'm very excited about a guy like Darius Garland, who's made tremendous improvements this previous year. Also, Karis LeVert's a really good player, Jared Allen, Isaac Okoro. Larry Markkinen is even somewhat of a player that I do like, even though his career kind of went downhill somewhat. And overall, I would just say there's a bunch of different players on this roster that I am very excited about going forward long term, and I definitely do see the Cavs as one of the better up-and-coming teams in the NBA, and I think as the seasons do progress, they're just going to continuously improve. But for this next season, I would like to see this team be a top 6 or a top 7 seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, the reason why I don't necessarily expect them to be anything higher than that is I do think the Eastern Conference has gotten a lot better, and it's going to be a lot more difficult this season to be a top 6 seed than it was last season. But I definitely do at the same time see the Cavs as a playoff team. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Evan Mobley could take the Cavs to the next level, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy it, check one of these two videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.